All right, you need a pencil. Do you have a pencil? That's for you. And this is for you. And I need my own pencil. Okay, so today we're going to do reading, and we're reading for comprehension, and we're going to look for main idea of paragraphs and then come up with a big central idea. And we've kind of done this before, but we're using a new reading technique today, okay? So what we're going to do is you're going to read a paragraph or two. I'm going to tell you how many. Then you're going to cover it up and retell what you read out loud. And then after you do that, that's when we're going to come up with the main idea. Does that make sense? But you're going to read it out loud, okay? So let's do the first one first. You're going to read paragraph 1 and 2, because paragraph 1 is just a sentence. But actually start with the title, and we'll see if we can figure out what we think it's going to be about.
Study shows dogs and humans are more alike than personally thought.
Previously thought. So what do you think this is going to be about?
Like dogs and humans is alike.
Okay, dogs and humans are alike.
In some kind of ways.
In some kind of way. Okay, so let's start with just paragraph 1 and 2. Read it out loud first, then you're going to cover it up with your hand and see if you can remember what you read.
Your dog yourself. He really knows you and can understand what you are telling him. No, really, he actually does. So say scientists in Hungary who have published a groundbreaking study that found understand both the meaning of words and the intonation
Good.
or tune used to speak them. Put simply, even if you use a very exciting tone of voice to tell a dog he is going to the vet, he'll probably see through and be bummed about going.
Okay, so cover it up so you don't re-look at it again. What were those 2 paragraphs about?
It was about like how dogs. It's about how like dogs like to be bummed out and like a tail, like a tail.
You want to try them again? You want to read it one more time? Read it one more time and then cover it up.
I think I got it now. It's like dogs understand what you're saying.
Okay. And there's a little more piece to it. Do you understand what the word tone means?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta have a certain tone when you're talking to your dog. Like he understand, but.
Good. Okay, so let's put that into a main idea sentence for those 1 to 2 sentences. So we just need one sentence. So what was it saying again?
It talked about how you gotta talk in a certain tone to your dog.
Not telling us to talk in a certain tone. What did it say? What did it say in that very first one?
Like how you talk in a certain tone.
And dogs what?
Know what you're talking about.
Good. Okay. So dogs understand what?
What you're saying.
And your
Tone.
good.
It's how you talk to a dog. I will put that. How you use your tone. Oops. Your tone. Can you write with a pen?
Okay. Go ahead and read paragraph number 3, and then we're going to cover that up, and you're going to retell what you read there.
It had already been established that dogs respond to human voices better than their wolf breathing. They are also able to match hundreds of objects to words and can be directed by human speech. But the new findings mean dogs are more like humans than was previously known, according to the paper published in Science magazine. Dogs process language using the same regions of the brain as people.
Okay, so let's cover that up.
Cover it up.
Okay. What was that one? What was that one saying?
It talks about how like dogs is like they got the same brain as humans.
Okay. What else?
Like they know how to put words together.
Mm,
I understand.
they were saying put words to what?
100 words like.
No. Look through that again. Go back and look through that again. There was some important piece you're missing. They can do what with words?
Be directed with words.
Good, good. Okay. So then what's a main idea statement we can come up for just that paragraph?
Dogs can be directed by words. So
Okay. And maybe don't forget that first piece you said about they have the same type of brains.
as humans.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're on that next page. We're just gonna read paragraph 6, and then you're gonna cover that one up.
I'll just read paragraph 6.
Did I remember? Yeah, for paragraph 4, sorry. Right up here, 4.
Some of it is in
Well, read it out loud and then cover it up.
I'm talking about like some of it's in what's it called? Like
That's just the name of a university. We'll sound it out as best we can.
she determined this on antibiotics in colleges,
Colleagues.
our co-workers at Lotos
Good,
Loran
good,
University.
good.
At, what is this?
Good, close. Budapest.
Budapest.
Recruited.
Recruited 13 family dogs, mostly golden retrievers and Labrador and border collies. That researchers trained the dogs to sit totally still for 7 minutes in a what is that?
fMRI scanner.
Yeah, I'm talking about like do you have a definition for it?
Oh, what is an MRI? Have you ever heard of that? So that's when they go and they measure your brain. They look inside your brain and get like a measurement of it and kind of see what you're thinking.
fMRI scanner, which measure their brain activity. The pups were not restrained and they could leave the skin anytime. The authors assert.
Okay, so cover that up and talk to me about what that was saying.
Talks about dogs. I go over it again.
You look at it again.
It talks about training dogs.
So what were they doing though? This university just did a what? It's
Training them like the sit and researching their brain.
so they did a study, right? Or they made them sit. Okay? So that's pretty much the main idea of that one, right? So you can go ahead and write that one for number 3. So that's just the main idea of paragraph 4.
They did a study on it.
Mm-hmm. So that paragraph's really just telling us a little bit about what they're going to keep telling us about this study. Okay, so go ahead and read paragraph 5.
Okay, a female trainer familiar to the dogs then spoke words of
Meaningless. Good.
meaningless to the animals. Each dog heard words in both natural tone and happy motivational tone.
Okay, let's talk about that real quick before you cover it up. What does neutral tone mean?
Like soft,
Soft, just normal, right? And then motivational, happy is really what?
like kind of loud.
Loud and excited. Okay, so go ahead and look over it again if you need to, and then cover it up. What's that saying about this study?
It was talking about like how you use different tones like to talk.
So the researcher did what?
Dogs heard
Okay, good. So the researcher talked to the dogs in what?
and a small like a soft tone and a happy tone.
Good. There's your main idea for that one, right?
Like talking to dogs
In a what? You got to be specific.
in different tones.
Good. Good. Okay. So now you're going to read 6 and 7 together because 7's so short.
Yeah, 7 short.
Out loud though.
Using the brain activity images, the researchers saw that the dogs process
Good.
the familiar words regardless.
Good. Intonation, so that's that tone word we just talked about.
Intonation, and they did so using the left hemisphere,
Mm-hmm.
just like humans. Meanwhile, was analyzed in the
Auditory.
auditory or ear-related regions of the right hemisphere, just as it in people. The study said dogs have a reward center which is stimulated by pleasant things such as peeing and food. The dog's reward centers counts accidentally,
Look at it again.
silently.
Good.
When positive words were spoken in a positive tone.
Okay. Cover that one up. What did that study show? Because that's what those 2 paragraphs are about, right?
Like it showed how the dog's reaction
Okay, showed the dog's reaction, and what was the reaction?
and the tones, good tone, like good reactions,
To the,
tone, like the tone.
okay,
When they were speaking.
when they were speaking what? Because the tone was different, remember? They talked to him in 2 different
High
tones.
pitch and low pitch.
Right, so if it was happy tone, the dogs were,
Happy.
right, but did they understand the words when it was a soft tone too? Look at that first paragraph again.
First,
Paragraph number 6. Using the brain activity images, the researchers saw that the dogs processed the familiar words regardless of intonation, right? Process, so they understood both, but they were happier when the tone was what?
soft. Soft, right?
Down at the bottom. The dog's reward centers bounced excitedly when positive words were spoken in a positive tone. So they understood the words both times,
So it's like,
but it was better. Just like if I said, Donnell, you did great. Or I said, Donnell, you did great. Which one makes you more excited? The second one. So we need to turn that into a main idea sentence.
I would say
The dog's what?
the dogs were more excited.
Okay.
They were spoken to nicely.
Okay. Positively or nicely, yeah. but they what? Understood words always, just like humans, right?
But they understood words.
Mm-hmm. Just like who?
Words like humans.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now you're going to read paragraph 8, okay?
It shows that dogs are a nice price.
So look at,
Praise.
yes, good.
A nice praise can very well work as a reward, but it works best if both words and the notation match.
It's a guy's name, you just, yeah, Andix.
And they said in a statement, that's a name.
Yeah.
So dogs not only teleport what we say and how we say it, but they can also combine the two words for correct
Interpretation, good.
Interpretation. I don't know how they pronounce the word.
Interpretation, and if you interpret something, you what?
Interpretation. Oh, okay. Like, you said if you interpret something.
You what?
Don't like.
No, it kind of means you understand it, right? It's your interpretation, your understanding.
Of what those words really meant. Like, I'm still stuck on the word because it's like, ain't it another word for it?
Yes, okay, so it shows that for dogs, a nice praise can very well work as a reward, but it works best if both words and intonation match, Andix said in a statement. So dogs not only tell apart what we say and how we say it, but they can also combine the two for a correct interpretation. Or you could say understanding, for a correct understanding of what those words really meant. Okay, so cover that up. What's he saying there? What's that article saying right there?
Oh, right.
Number 8, yeah.
Like you gotta say it in a correct way, and they understand the words. Like you gotta match them.
Yeah, so they
You gotta
understand.
say it right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so they understand the words matched with what?
Well, like
What's that word? The tone. Good. So you can write that for number 6 for your main idea for paragraph 8.
they understand the words that match with the tone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're going to read the last 2 together, and then you're done with the main ideas. Yeah, so read those last 2 because they're kind of shorter.
Humans domesticated dogs that is made them homebody pets at least 15,000 years ago. Their researchers said it's unlikely to domesticated dogs, Cation dogs, could have led to this sort of brain function. Instead, the way is probably more ancient. This means we humans aren't as special as we like to think, at least when it comes to how our brains deal with language. What makes words uniquely human.
Andix, it's like this guy's name again.
Said is that we came up with using it.
Okay, so I think these two paragraphs are kind of hard. Do you want to scan through them again? What do you think it's saying?
Yeah, it's kind of hard, so
Okay.
may not do.
I'm going to read it out loud to you again. Humans domesticated dogs, that is, made them homebody pets at least 15,000 years ago. The researchers said it's unlikely that domestication could have led to this sort of brain function. Instead, they say it's probably far more ancient. That means we humans aren't as special as we'd like to think, at least when it comes to how our brains deal with language. What makes words uniquely human, Andic said, is that we came up with using them. So what are they saying about humans and words and dogs?
Are we not as smart to words as we think?
No, it's not saying that we're not as smart to words as we think. What's it saying about dogs? Or did we give them the ability to understand words, or were they born with it? It's saying here.
I think we gave them the ability.
Okay, so that's what this was kind of saying, right? Humans domesticated dogs 15,000 years ago, but researchers said it's unlikely, right? So it's not likely that domestication, so us raising them, could have led to this sort of brain function. So he thinks
it's not.
Right. So dogs are what?
Born with it.
Good. That's kind of the main idea of the end of that, right? Dogs are born with the ability to understand words. Okay, so talk to me about this piece before we look at what we wrote for all of them. What did you find interesting, or what'd you learn?
The main thing I learned is how you talk to a dog, like, you don't know, like, that's how you, like, cause I can tell when my dogs don't get happy no more.
Yeah? Because of what?
Like the way you speak to them.
So you're thinking you're just talking to them plainly and they don't get as excited, right? Yeah, Millie gets excited because I always talk to her nicely.
Like, you gotta talk to them in a happy voice.
Exactly. Okay.
I do it sometimes, but
you gotta do it more. Okay, so what we're gonna do is a central idea of the whole piece. We did main ideas of the paragraph. But what we need is, if you were to go home and talk to your mom tonight, you need to be like, I read an article today that was about bomb, 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 right? We gotta get one kind of blanket statement, because you want to get outside and you don't want to have to tell her this whole entire story, right? So you want to say it nice and short and sweet. So what we've done is, you don't even have to go back to the thing. We've got all of our main ideas of the paragraphs here, but we need to try to combine all the important stuff, okay, into one or two sentences, max, okay? So how can we kind of put this together? We know a lot of the words we saw multiple times was tone, dog, so we probably need to have those two words, right? The words, and in humans, because it was all about humans and dogs. So what could be your central idea statement based on all this stuff? If you need to read back through them, you can.
I would say the use of the tone.
Okay.
The words that dogs understand.
So let's start with the word dogs, and they what? They understand what?
Dogs understand, like, words.
Perfect. I like the start of that.
tone that you speak to them.
Perfect. And what's the big word that we're still missing? And that's how we can kind of wrap that statement up.
Like
But the whole thing was comparing them to who? Humans. So we might want that word humans in there somehow. So how can we wrap up that statement, that central idea statement?
I wouldn't say the way that humans talk to them, because humans is like was in there in a different way.
Okay, but didn't they say, so look back at the title, right? Study shows dogs and humans are more alike, so they're comparing them. So you could almost do, dogs understand words and the tone that you speak to them in, just like who?
Just like humans.
Yeah. So does that help you kind of get that whole central idea by breaking it down paragraph by paragraph?
Yeah.
Right? Because we kind of started out with like the words thing. We started talking about how like it helped them with their tone. And then at the end, they kind of wrapped it up with how it's just like humans and humans didn't start it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense? Good. Can you use this on your own when you were reading something by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. Do you want to keep that? You gonna tell your mom about that article?